You know that moment when someone shows up in your mind out of nowhere. No warning. No reason. You're just living your day, doing something completely normal, and suddenly they're there. Like your mind quietly went somewhere else and only told you after. It happened to me again recently. And I say, if you're honest, this isn't new. I was just sitting there, not really thinking about anything. Scrolling. Half distracted. One of those moments where time just passes without you noticing. And then something shifted. Not something big. No obvious trigger. Just a small feeling that didn't belong to that moment. And before I could even question it, I knew exactly who it was about. It's strange how that works. Your brain doesn't ask permission. It just takes you there. So I did what you probably do too. I opened the conversation. Not to text. I already knew I wouldn't. There was nothing left to say. But I opened it anyway. And for a second, I told myself it was nothing. Just curiosity. Just a quick look. But it's never just that. Because the moment you're there, you don't just see messages. You feel things. You start noticing details. Old words. Old tones. Little pieces of something that used to feel normal, but now feel loaded with meaning. And without realizing it, you slow down. You scroll a little more. You read something twice. And suddenly, you're not just looking anymore. You're remembering. Not everything. Just flashes. A specific moment. A certain conversation. A feeling that doesn't fully belong to the present anymore. And then your mind does something even stranger. It starts trying to understand it. Like there's something hidden in those memories. You start thinking, why did they say that? Why did I react like that? Was there something I missed? And the deeper you go, the more it feels like there's something to figure out. Like the past is holding an answer you didn't see back then. And you stay there longer than you should. Until something in you snaps back. You close it. Lock your phone. Look around. And for a second, you're back. But not completely. Because part of your mind is still there. Still replaying. Still connecting things. Still trying to make sense of something you can't fully explain. And this is where it gets confusing. Because if you stop and really think about it, you don't even want them back. If they showed up right now, if they texted you, called you, tried to come back, you wouldn't just run back into it. You'd hesitate. You'd remember things. Things that didn't work. Things that hurt. Things that made you walk away. So logically it's over. But your mind doesn't act like it is. It keeps going back. And for a long time, I thought that meant something was unfinished. That maybe I still had feelings. That maybe I wasn't fully over it. But the more I paid attention to that loop, the more I realized something didn't match. Because it didn't feel like I missed them. It felt like I missed something else. Something quieter. Something deeper. Something harder to name. And this is the part most people never stop long enough to notice. When your mind goes back like that, it's not actually going back to them. It's going back to how you felt. When you were in that moment of your life. That's what stays. Not the person. The feeling. The version of you that existed there. The way you used to think. The way things felt lighter. The way you didn't question yourself every second. The way conversations flowed easier. The way you felt more like yourself. And when that version of you fades, your mind doesn't just accept it. It searches for it. And the only place it remembers finding it is with them. So it goes back. Again. And again. Trying to reconnect with something that felt real. And this is where it becomes dangerous, quietly. Because without realizing it, you start believing they were the reason. You felt that way. Like they created it. Like they were the source of that version of you. And once that belief forms, everything gets tied together. The person and the feeling. So now when you think about them, you're not just remembering who they were. You're remembering who you were. And that's why it's so hard to let go. Because it doesn't feel like letting go of a person. It feels like letting go of a part of yourself. And no one wants to lose that. So your mind keeps returning. Not because you want them, but because you want that feeling again. And it doesn't know where else to find it. So it searches in the only place it remembers. The past. And every time you go back there, it almost feels close again. For a second, you feel it. But it never fully stays. Because you're not there anymore. And that's why it feels unfinished. Not because of them, but because you lost access to something inside yourself. And for a long time, I didn't understand that. I thought I was just stuck on someone. But I wasn't. I was stuck on a version of me that I didn't know how to access anymore. And once that realization hit, everything shifted. Because now the question changed. It stopped being, why can't I stop thinking about them? And became, what was different about me back then? What was I feeling? What wasn't I afraid of? Why did I feel more open? More present? More like myself? And the more I sat with that, the clearer it became. It wasn't them. They didn't create that version of me. They were just there. When it came out. And that changes everything. Because it means you didn't lose it. You just connected it to the wrong place. And now your mind keeps going back, trying to find something that was never actually there. Not in them. And when that finally clicks, something shifts. The thoughts don't disappear overnight, but they stop controlling you the same way. Because now you understand what your mind is actually trying to do. It's not trying to bring them back. It's trying to bring you back. And that's not something you find by rereading old messages or reliving old moments. It's something you rebuild in your present life, in your own way, without needing them to exist in it. And that sounds simple, but it's not. Because when you stop going back, you're left with something uncomfortable. Silence. No memories to escape into. No version of the past to visit. Just you. And that's the part most people avoid. Because it forces you to notice things you've been distracting yourself from. The way you feel when you're alone. The thoughts that come up when nothing is filling the space. The version of you that doesn't feel as light as before. And for a moment, it almost feels easier to go back. To open the chat again. To replay that memory one more time. To stay connected to something that once felt certain. But every time you do that, you delay something important. You delay reconnecting with yourself. Because as long as your attention is tied to what you felt back then, you're not building anything new now. And this is where the shift begins. Not when you forget them. Not when the thoughts disappear. But when you start choosing not to follow them every time they show up. When the memory comes, and instead of going deeper, you pause. You notice it, but you don't let it take you. And at first, that feels unnatural. Because your mind is used to going there. Used to replaying. Used to searching. But slowly, something starts to change. You create space. Space between the thought and what you do with it. And in that space, you start noticing something else. What you actually need right now. Not what you felt back then. Not what existed in the past. But what's missing in your present life. Maybe it's connection. Maybe it's excitement. Maybe it's feeling seen. Or maybe it's just feeling like yourself again. And this time, you're not looking for it in someone else. You're starting to build it on your own. In small ways. Almost invisible at first. The way you show up in conversations. The way you allow yourself to be open again. The way you stop holding back. Out of fear of feeling too much. And slowly, that version of you starts coming back. Not exactly the same. But real. More stable. More yours. And the strange part is, the more you reconnect with yourself, the less your mind feels the need to go back. Not because you forced it to stop, but because you're no longer missing what you were trying to find there. And one day, you'll notice it. You'll think about them again. But this time, it feels different, lighter. There's no pull, no urge to go deeper, no need to figure anything out. It's just a thought. And it passes. And in that moment, you realize something important. You were never trying to get them back. You were trying to get back to yourself. And now, you don't have to look in the past for that anymore. Because you've started creating it again, right where you are.